The National Executive Committee of the ANC facing growing calls to suspend its Secretary-General Magashule while he faces corruption charges. Magashule will be back in the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court tomorrow after he was granted R200,000 bail in November. A group of disgruntled ANC members in the Free State are calling for Magashule's head. Earlier, the group urged the party to act with speed. Our senior politics reporter Ziyanda Ngcobo following the story. She joins us live from Mangung. Ziyanda, good afternoon to you. All right, we've got a lot of developments coming through tomorrow. What developments so far this afternoon?
A very good afternoon to you, Stephen. Well, what I can tell you is that former Economic Development MEC Dukwana and those who are in his corner held a briefing earlier on today to say that, one, they support the justice system and that it must be left alone to do its work without intimidation. But secondly, that they support the NEC's move then to consolidate the guidelines which will actually assist them in how to deal with the step-aside resolution. Let's listen into what he had to say earlier.
It is our position that we stand firm behind the principle of the 54th National Conference that those who are charged for corruption and other serious crimes must step aside. Therefore, the ANC must not be deterred by the passing of paid supporters to the courts of our country. In this vein, we call on the ANC NEC to compel its Secretary-General, Elias Magashule, and among his co-accused, Olim Lamleli, who is a member of the Free State PEC, the Mangaung Metro Council, and a former mayor to step aside.
Well, Ziyanda, I mean, we've seen this pressure from Dukwana in the past. We've seen people calling for Magashule to step aside or resign in the past. He's already appeared in court once. Is the pressure building? Is it really going to have an impact on him?
Well, I think the problem here, Stephen, is that there are so many moving parts to this. It seems as though to be able to mount the level of pressure that is necessary, you'd need at least formidable forces on a balanced sort of dominant forces, I should say. For an example, you have those operating under the banner of RET forces who yesterday held their briefing in which they were stating their support then for Magashule, and they have plans to meet outside the and demonstrate outside the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court tomorrow. Then you have the likes of Dukwana, who's been said to have been a close friend of Magashule, who today was actually clarifying that he's never actually been a friend of Magashule. They've never interacted outside of their duties in the Free State. And the reason why he's outspoken now, and to quote him directly, he said, well, there's no right time to do the right thing. Then, of course, Stephen, you also have the ANC in the Free State, which has been seen to have been anointed by Magashule. And in fact, there is a case before the Supreme Court of Appeal where the faction that is aligned to Dukwana is actually trying to have that ANC Free State conference in 2018 declared unlawful and invalid. So at this particular point in time, we are also expecting then that at least 30 to 40 people from the likes of Dukwana and those who support him to be congregated outside the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court, but will be wearing orange masks together with the Kathrada Foundation. And the symbolism then of wearing orange is that of orange overalls. And we know then that the Kathrada Foundation has been running that campaign for some time now. So this is where we stand then when it comes to this particular court case. But also a new development this afternoon, Stephen. 3 senior government officials were arrested by the Hawks this morning, and they will be added to the charge sheet and will be appearing alongside Magashule, the likes of Edwin Sodi and others tomorrow.
Ziyanda, I mean, it's going to be a big day tomorrow. Are we expecting as big crowds tomorrow as we've seen in the past? I mean, of course, social distancing has really made it quite difficult for people to show support to their political leaders.
Well, I mean, social distancing is something that is, legislated at this particular point in time. But that's not what happened then when Ace Magashule appeared in the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court last year. In fact, there were running battles between Magashule supporters and authorities who had actually barricaded both ends of the street last year. But of course, they were trying to force their way into just outside the court precinct. It's not clear whether or not the same show of force will be demonstrated then tomorrow, Stephen. But what we do know that from the side of Dukwana and those that he's representing, the ones that he says he's representing, they're only planning to bring about 30 to 40 people to congregate in line with the COVID-19 regulations. At this particular point in time, it's not clear whether or not authorities have given the official go-ahead for there to be a gathering outside the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court. But we do know that both sides are planning to have some sort of demonstration. And in terms of what we're expecting then to happen inside the court, it's likely to be another postponement, Stephen, and of course then the unveiling, so to speak, of those 3 additional suspects who were rounded up by the Hawks earlier on today.
Ziyanda, thanks very much indeed. Do appreciate it. Ziyanda Ngcobo live already in Mangaung, and of course live reports coming through tomorrow from early in the morning as Ace Magashule prepares to appear in court once again.